Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today is another React video. I haven't uploaded in a while. It's been like 2 weeks. I have some stuff in the works, but I thought I'd do a quick video. I have my boy Zay here. We're gonna react to Mr. Nightmare. Say what's up, Zay.
What's up,
Okay, I
yo,
kind of
man? How
glossed
y'all
over
doing,
that.
man? Nah, you straight. What's up, bro? Yeah, we about to just, you know what I'm saying? Mr. Nightmare, he's a very good storyteller. I've been
Yeah.
watching his videos for a long time, and his stories never disappoint. So we should have some nice ass videos in store. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. Go check him out in the description. I am gonna put him in the description and where all the videos that we're gonna be watching, so you can just look
Yes,
at them.
sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Go
sir.
react to them yourselves or anything like that. I would really love it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Also, go subscribe to Zay. We're
Yes,
on.
sir.
We're
Yes,
trying. We're
sir.
trying to come up. So,
You know
uh,
how it is.
but without further ado, you want to get into this?
Yes, sir. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Growing up, I was raised in rural Michigan. There was hardly anything to do. If you like
I believe
staring
it.
at trees and crops and lots of alone time,
Like it's
that
like
was
it's
the
like
place to
rural
be.
Ohio.
I got out of there as
Yeah.
soon as I got a car and enough money to move. I'm not a nature hater or anything, but I'd pick being by a big city
So
any
is this
day.
his story or?
My parents
No,
don't
I
own
think he
that
said he's doing
property
his at the
anymore.
end.
They sold
Okay.
it 5 years ago. But to describe it, it was a 3-acre property.
Oh, nice
The
house.
house itself was pretty big, and there was a storage
nice.
building out back. I was 13 when this happened. My parents would leave me alone often at this age. They trusted me because I matured at a young age and I had responsibilities on the property. It was a weekend, and I was playing Vice City on my PS2 in the living room.
Yeah.
Suddenly, a
Yes,
loud metallic
sir.
bang came from outside somewhere in the yard.
Bro, beating up
Right away,
prostitutes.
ran to every window I could to look outside to see if I could see something, and I didn't see anything until I got to the window looking out to the storage building out back. The door to it was completely open. I
Oh
went
god.
immediately to grab the rifle from the closet and go outside. I made my presence known, shouting "Who's in there?" to no avail. When I got to the door, I made it known I had a gun before looking inside. There was a bunch of stuff in there, from the sit-down mower to the quad to infinite little lawn care items. Someone could have been hiding behind any of that stuff. Even as a kid,
Go back
I
inside
wasn't
and lock all
scared,
the windows and doors.
but at that moment, I got really unsettled, and so I closed the door to the building and went back inside the house. I locked the door and then sat at the window for the longest time, watching the storage building, expecting the door to open at any second. That door was heavy and impossible to just open by itself. It was simply a fact that someone came and opened it. Whether they were still inside of the building, I wasn't sure. I decided to go call my dad and ask his opinion. I went to the kitchen to the landline phone and called my dad's cell phone. He didn't pick up, so I left a voicemail. This was back when you'd still have to leave someone a voicemail because texting wasn't mainstream. After that, I went back to sitting next to the window, but now I put on a TV show in the background to make this less
That's a
monotonous.
pretty sunset, bro.
I took the phone with
Yeah,
me.
bro.
I was probably about to give up when I heard creaks from upstairs.
Oh.
It was now
Oh
on.
god.
I had to ask myself the big question. Was I
That's
working
me.
myself
Wait, no,
up
he's still in the rural
or was
area. He
someone
can't go to
here?
a neighbor's house. Never
I
mind.
had a serious guard dog
Yeah.
mentality. Even if I didn't love that place, I saw it as mine, my family's. I had to protect it. But I was in over my head. I grabbed the
Yeah, I
rifle
ain't doing
again
that.
and walked upstairs.
Bro lives in an area where a kid can have a
Calling
gun.
out would only make a potential
True.
intruder know that I heard them. I made it to the top of the stairs, and I turned on the light for the upstairs hallway. There were 5 doors to open, all of them closed.
You can
Door led to
tell this
bedrooms,
dude like
one
his
led to
house
the
isn't
hallway.
haunted because this never
Each door
happens or
had a decently
something.
large
Like,
Yeah.
crack underneath that would allow you to see under.
Big on every door,
The
bro.
creak in the ceiling I heard moments earlier came from the side of the house my parents
just
said
shoot
was
through
haunted.
every door.
I got down on my knees and looked under the crack of the door.
A bullet for a
and I
door.
saw 2 bare feet facing
Bro,
the
just
other
put
side
a
of the
breach
door.
charge and an ash charge in
I
every
felt my
door.
stomach twist into a knot. The reality of the situation
Shoot through the door.
was so much more real.
Yeah,
Put the
fuck
whole
it.
clip
I
through.
wasn't ready to threaten or, God forbid, shoot someone.
Nope,
I
I'm
got up
doing it.
and quickly went downstairs.
Shoot through the
I
door.
hid in the bathroom to call my dad. He still didn't pick up. I left another voicemail.
That's him.
And I
So I
called
know.
again and again.
Yeah,
He never picked up.
he's messing
He
with
must have
you.
had his phone set down somewhere.
Testing
I
you.
finally called
He's
911.
testing you,
Shoot
making
through
sure
the
you'll
door.
actually
Right
shoot
away.
somebody.
And I whispered into the phone the whole time, detailing exactly what was taking place. I was told to sit tight in the bathroom and not say a word. I heard footsteps coming down the stairs, and then they approached the bathroom door as if whoever it was somehow knew I went straight to the bathroom. The footsteps stopped outside the door, and there was a brief pause before a deep voice said, "What's up, kid?" I still remember the voice and those words so vividly.
Wait, he
If I
came
heard
to
that
the
voice
bathroom
today, I'd still
specifically?
recognize it
Yeah.
immediately. I almost wanted to cry.
It's his
That's
dad.
how scared I was.
It
I
has to be his
disobeyed
dad,
what the
bro.
operator told me, and I spoke. I said loud and clear, "I'm on the phone with the cops right now, and I have a gun." I put the operator on speaker as she was asking me if everything's okay. The man attempted to open the door, and when he realized it was locked, I heard him walk away. I
Shoot
heard
the
the footsteps
door.
fade to silence, and then the sound of a door slamming. It was the sound of the back
At
door.
the front door.
I'm sure I breathed a sigh of relief.
I wouldn't leave.
Thereon,
I wouldn't walk
waiting for
out
the
Yeah, I wouldn't
police
leave.
because
to
Not
arrive.
yet.
he could be faking.
When they
10
did,
minutes.
I
10 minute
felt like
warning.
a
10
million
minutes,
pounds
bro.
just lifted off
Yeah.
my shoulders.
Not 10 minutes
After a
till the
thorough
cops get there.
inspection
What are
of
you
the
talking
house
about?
inside and out,
You're right, my
confirming
fault,
that the man
you're
was
right.
gone. They asked if there was anywhere else I could stay that night, and I said yes,
No.
my uncle's house.
Oh.
We contacted my uncle, who came and spoke with the police. Then he took me back to his place. The thing that haunts me the most is that it was my fault. I could have prevented this. I left the
Ow.
door unlocked as I went to the storage building
Oh,
to investigate.
dummy.
Clearly, that's when the man simply walked right into the house. Even with a rifle in my hands, I didn't feel safe at all. It was truly the most horrific experience of my life.
I really couldn't like fathom having another human being in your house that's not supposed to
Bro,
be there. That's
that's
creepy
one of
as
my
fuck,
biggest
bro.
fears.
Yeah,
Like,
it's one of
it's
my
not
biggest
it's not
fears.
them being in
I
my
was
house. It's
18.
the fact
My
like
parents went
I don't
away
know
on a
this
week-long
person. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like,
like it's just it's
My
not
sister
right
had
at
already
all.
You don't know what their
moved out at this
intentions
point,
are.
so I had to hold the fort.
Oh.
My parents' property is enclosed
I
by
lied.
woods
My biggest
and a
fear is
dirt
the
driveway
ocean, but
leading to the road.
Yeah.
that's up
The
there.
road
That's
is a
pretty up
quiet
there.
back road with equally sized properties running alongside it, all of them separated a decent distance. So it's a really isolated feel up there. Everyone in town knows each other. You see familiar faces all the time for the most part.
Bro, they
Gas
say
station,
every
at the
fucking
grocery
movie is
store,
the number one
at the
movie in the
bars,
world.
which I learned a few years
Number
later
one
was
movie in the
starting to-
world.
Speaking of gas
What's that?
stations, this story starts one day while my parents were away. I was at a gas station filling up my tank when a black Jeep Cherokee pulled up to the pump next to mine. A man with a goatee stepped out, greeted me, and started filling his tank. In that town, it was
That's not
normal for
normal.
strangers to greet each other
Yeah,
like that.
not normal.
He had his nozzle locked into the gas tank, and then he walked around to my side of the pump and went, "Excuse me, do you know how to get to the interstate from here?" I helped him to the
Figure
best
it
of my
out.
ability.
No.
He pulled out a notepad and started writing down the directions I gave him. Very odd how he wouldn't just do
He-
that
no,
on his
he-
cell
he
phone
writing
like
down your
anyone else
description.
would. He thanked me and asked if I'm from the area. I said, yeah, I grew up here, and he said he's from out of town.
Might as well tell
He
him where
didn't
your house
specify
is.
where.
God.
He
At
then
that
went back to
point-
his side and put the nozzle back in the pump.
I
He
ain't
then
being that
asked my
friendly.
name,
Fuck.
as he said, "It's nice meeting you." I said, "My name's Kate." He said, "What a lovely
you're a
name,"
woman? Oh,
and then
no
got in his
wonder.
car as I got
Oh.
into mine.
Trying to pork you.
I drove out first and turned left to
100%.
go up the road back home.
You
It
following?
was only a
I don't
few
trust
minutes
these,
worth of
bro. I don't
driving
trust them.
before I was approaching our turn into the driveway. I slowed down and
He
put my
followed
blinker
you.
on, then turned right onto the
I would have
pump.
went somewhere else to make sure he wasn't
It was at that
following.
moment
He's creepy.
Yeah, I
The
would have
car
went back
behind
like
me was that same
somewhere
black
different.
Jeep
I make
Cherokee.
McDonald's or something.
He
Like
passed
an
me.
hour.
Hey, you know he
Into our
rich because he got a
driveway.
Jeep, bro.
He went the complete
bro.
opposite way that I told him to go to get to the interstate.
Yeah, bro,
As he
following
passed
you.
me, he didn't
wants
slow
you.
down or anything, so it seemed that maybe he just forgot the directions I gave him and went the wrong way. I let myself
Far worse
inside
than
and went
that.
about the rest of my day doing whatever. I think it was that night that I was going out to meet up with my friends that I stepped outside and walked to my car and heard the sound of footsteps nearby.
Nope.
Like
Come
I
back in the
said,
house,
the
come
house
back
is
in the house.
enclosed by woods, and this was in the middle of the summertime. It could have been any number of animals. So I didn't investigate. I just got in my car and left.
He's going in your
When I
house.
got back home hours later and walked from my car to the house, a man's voice from out somewhere in the woods called out Kate. I got the chills as I looked around, and then in a panic rushed to open the front door. I slammed it shut and sat on the couch to breathe. The neighbors all knew my name, but the houses are not on top of each other, so it's a bit of a walk. And there was no reason for one of them to call my name like that, like a creep, and not identify themselves. I decided to call my parents to tell them, and their explanation was it must have been one of the neighbors, and they'll probably knock on the door. I didn't tell them about the encounter at the gas station. The next day, which was a Saturday, I stayed home most of the day, and later that night, I once again was going out to meet with my friends. After
But
getting
still
ready and
now.
everything, I went outside, and as I was walking to my car, I heard loud and clear from the not so far distance someone call Kate again. This time I didn't wait a second. I ran back inside the house and locked the door again. I called 911 this time, texting my family while doing so. After 2 cops showed up to the house, they looked around the perimeter of the property with their flashlights, then came back and said to call again if this persisted. I didn't feel much better after this. It's not really like they did much. I refrained from going outside until the next day when I had work. I was a server at a nearby restaurant.
He's just
I was
trying to get
working a
some,
late
bro.
shift. I left the house in broad daylight, paranoid to hear that voice again. Thankfully,
Yeah,
though, I
that's
didn't.
creepy though, bro.
Maybe seeing the police car finally scared them off. After many
There's
hours
one
at
thing
work,
trying to
I was ready to
like
go home
flirt
and
with a
collapse
girl, and then
into
there's
bed.
another just standing
Called out to the
outside of her
property,
house the whole
parked
time,
my
bro.
car out front,
Oh,
and walked to the
bro.
front door.
Some
I
dudes just
stopped
have
when I
no
heard the
ribs.
sound of footsteps again.
Yeah.
It's their
It
version
didn't
of
sound like
ribs,
an
bro.
animal's footsteps, though. I stood on the front deck for a second, waiting, and then that familiar voice yelled out again, saying, "Kate, don't call the cops on me again, cutie." I
Bitch,
yelled out, "You need
I'm
help,"
calling
you're
cops
sick,"
again.
and let myself inside. I called the cops once more. The cops came again, searched
Yeah,
the
bro.
perimeter again. and
No, I
left.
can just
My
imagine.
parents
It starts
told me I should
becoming
stay at a
normal.
friend's house for the night.
Yeah, bro.
She
I
just
couldn't agree more.
she just
They would be
starts
back the
running
following
less and
month,
less,
so
and it
after
gets to
that,
a point where
I
like
feel much safer
she
being
just
home.
walks to her door and
My
like,
friend
"Hey, what's
Alex
up?"
told me I was
Like,
with her that night,
Still
so I
here,
packed
bro?
a bag and was ready to go.
Want something to eat?
what's up,
Checked
knee,
out
bro?
the windows first to make sure the coast was clear. I then went outside and locked the door as fast as I could, then ran to the car. As I turned the key in the ignition, I heard something right to my left. Right outside the driver's side door was a man wearing a face mask, trying to open the door. I couldn't even scream. I felt like I was choking on air.
Get to the door.
As I put the car in drive,
Just open the
he
door,
started
bro. He just
hitting
wants
the
a
glass
kiss.
with his elbow. I looped my car around on the grass and sped down the driveway, and I turned right up the road and didn't stop until I got to Alex's house. I was hysterically crying the whole drive there as I had Alex and her dad on the phone with me. He said he would have come and picked me up had he known the situation. We called the police together for a 3rd time in total. A couple officers went to my parents' house to investigate again, make sure no windows were shattered or anything. One officer came to Alex's house where I once again gave my description of what happened. This was probably the most action these cops had seen in a long time in this quiet town.
Yeah.
Thankfully, my parents came home the next day, and I felt safe staying at home again. I fully believe the man at the gas station followed me home intentionally and scoped the place out, realizing I was by myself, and for whatever reason toyed with me, until he actually tried to pounce and get me. I shouldn't have given my real name, and I should have been more alert to my surroundings and realized he was following me in my car that day.
I mean, your real name.
Some
is
people are
different.
nuts.
Hey,
and
my
have way
my
too
real
much time
name's
on their hands.
Viral.
This incident was a
Viral.
huge motivating
Viral is
factor
crazy,
in
bro.
moving out to my own
I
apartment
gotta say,
a
it's
few
kind of
months
tough.
later.
I'm not gonna lie. It sounds kind of tough.